I've been meaning to make this video since a long time. React compiler is pretty cool, right? And you can always use react.use callback or react.useMemo to ensure all your objects and functions are referentially stable. But what if I told you there's another way to ensure your React application does not overly re-render, or your slow components are not part of the re-render loop, without having to use either of these? I find it cool. I don't think it's that useful in production code where you have layers of components in a component tree, or you have it's not very intuitive that where is the dynamic part coming from, which hook is causing that. It is quite a lot when you work with production code, but in sample projects it is easy to see that, and it is something you should know about. I think your React compiler cannot really do these sorts of optimizations because it's asking you to change your business logic, but it is still cool. So let's talk about it. Let me put myself here. Let's go back to here. So this is a compiler demo which Theo had made. I'm sure you would have seen this video by now. It's a month old. Here he actually talks about React Scan, which is a cool project. Talks about React Scan, which is a cool project. You can check it out over here. It's very easy to even integrate into any React app. But over here he's basically showing how useMemo is so fickle, right? You can forget it. Any one person can add an object somewhere and suddenly everything re-renders. So not having to think about it via React compiler is cool, and I do think that is the right way to do things going forward, because we write so much of UI code, especially now with the help of AI LLMs. However, there is another way, and it's cool to know about it, right? So I've ported the same example over here. Right now this is the code. Over here we are using React compiler. Let me comment that off, right? Refresh. Now when I change my color, the performance is shit, right? Literally we are single digit FPS. That's pretty bad. And why this is happening is very obvious, right? When I look at the code, I can see, oh, I have two state variables here and a slow component here. Whenever I change this state, this will re-render. What is your knee-jerk reaction to this? You will probably think, oh, let me just add slow component to react.memo. It's interesting, we like to think like that and not the other way around, right? We don't ask that, should slow component even be part of this React tree, right? We don't ask that question. We assume that cannot be changed. Maybe because we think it will change the UI, right? We have to have slow component right after this div because we rely on the gap 8 to work, right? Maybe that is why we don't think of that solution. But you can remove components from your React tree while having it in the same place in the DOM, right? The DOM tree is what ultimately goes to the browser, while your React tree is how React thinks the relationship is between various components, right? Demo component has a child component, which is slow component, which it re-renders, right? Or renders. So how do you fix this, right? Assuming you already know that you can use various sorts of memoization techniques, or you can even pull state down, right? Set count has no reason being up here, right? It's only used over here. So we can make a component, counter button component, and let the state be there. Similarly with the color has no business being here, so we can pull it down. Assuming we are not going to change any of those things, what can we do? So what we can do is, let me actually change to a branch, lift up UI, right? Stash and checkout, I don't care, whatever. Yeah, so what have I changed here? So over here you can see, instead of having slow component, we have children, right? And we accept children as props, and then in demo component we pass children. Not a big change, right? This is not really a big deal, but the impact is quite huge. So let me confirm we are not using the compiler. Yeah, it's still off. So when I change increase count, of course demo component, which is over here, this is going to re-render. That's understood. Color component, that's also re-rendering the demo component because the state is over here. That's fine. But notice how slow component is not re-rendering anymore, and the performance is pretty good, right? And the change does not require any memory, right? In useMemo, you're essentially taking some memory. Use callback, useMemo. React compiler is going to do that maybe slightly smartly, but still it is going to take some more memory usage. While this change is actually much more aligned to our intention. That when I change color picker, I only want color picker to be changed. When I change counter, I want only counter to be changed. Slow component need not be re-rendered. And this is how we express that to React. That, oh, assume there's a slot, children is that crop slot, children is the slot. And let me put some massive UI over there. You need not worry about it. It's a external thing for you. You just worry about color and counter, which is what is our little intent over here. Now, if color, we wanted that whenever color changes, this slow component also re-renders, of course, then your business logic is different, right? But yeah, I find it cool. Not sure why and how you will use it, but it is interesting for sure. At least in production code, I think it's not easy to see such wins. But if you do see so, you can consider this technique, right? No use memo, no use callback. In fact, the dangling object, which is part of the component tree, which is not use memo, that is also not going to affect your performance. Even if you have a on click somewhere here and it's a function inline like this, won't change the performance because essentially parent component is not re-rendering here. So that's pretty cool. Hope this helps. See you again. Bye bye.